stars. Follow me with your shape-shifting smiles, and I see you. Maybe they'll believe you. Illuminati, a curved dawn trap, silver discs and hidden files, and we see you. We've got to believe you. Blast off. Blast off. Blast off. Blast off.
Blast off, Wolfpack. It's Ryan, the anomalous ambassador of the airwaves, broadcasting just south of Area 51 at the base at La Madre Mountain. And the expose of David Wilcock, everything everybody is saying. We had a close personal friend of his come out with information, a letter from the family. He had spoken to some of the police officers. Of course, we have everyone else, including the cyber bullies who have cyberbullied him over the years since about 2019, and some before then, all telling us how it is, what's going on, and how they knew this was going to happen. You know, never let an opportunity go to waste to get a jab in. It's unfortunate. Now, there are some things that I'm going to share that nobody is sharing. I contemplated not jumping on or talking about this at all because I'm just not my cup of tea. But I trust sometimes that things fall onto my desk and across my view for a reason, and that's so I can get it to you guys. So let's get into this. Before we do, if you haven't been over to heroparanormal.com, slide on over there, check out what we have. All right. So there is something known as a cambion, a demon-human hybrid. In European mythology, the cambion is the offspring of a human and a demon, often an incubus or a succubus. That's called a cambion. Can't make this stuff up. Demon-human hybrids in European mythology are called cambion. Now, popular examples include Selavir and Rasazi from Mid-Fight Masses and characters from Blue Exorcist. But the bottom line is we're talking demon-human hybrids. Cambions. Demon-human hybrids are what Matt Gaetz spoke that he was debriefed about, or at least it was alien-human hybrids. However, there's a lot of interesting discussions about demons being extraterrestrials, extraterrestrials being demons, aliens being demons, demons being aliens. We know that a number of people, including the vice president, have opinions of the possibility that aliens and demons are one and the same. Keep in mind, demons will take the mask of just about anything to appear as that thing. Many people have noted that demons can appear as skinwalkers, a number of animals, maybe wendigos, a number of mythological creatures, wolfmen. Why not aliens too? Interestingly, hybridization dialogue having to do with debriefs, military debriefs, going into hybridization programs at secret military bases is nothing new. This is something we've been hearing for quite some time. But the fact that demon-human hybrids are called cambions, that is something new, especially coincidental that I find this, because there are a number of trolls out there who are very much examples of people that attack or cyberbully others as a way of business. This is a very demonic type of thing to do, isn't it? Or at least maybe just the way a demon-human hybrid would act. I don't know. In European mythology, the offspring of a human and a demon, often an incubus or a succubus, is known as a cambion. So let me delve into something a little bit interesting here. And that is a lot of people, and I'm talking a lot of people are talking about the fact they're not buying what happened to David Wilcock. Now, I got something that's pretty amazing, and that is the actual unedited audio from police comms. And I'm just going to let this play. I want to know what you think and then we'll talk about it. Here it is.
640 and 528, can you break in cover on an unknown issue at 1455 Ridge Road?
640, copy en route from 36 Decibels again. 528.
There's a party by the name of David Wilcock at 1455 Ridge Road. He said, I need to leave. I will be off to the left. I will not advise if he's armed or not, and will not say if he's going to harm himself or not, being very vague.
528, copy. What's the history there?
Fire alarms and animal complaints. 1047, 1047. 640 and 528. He's a 53-year-old male, type 1 diabetic who said he's run out of money. 640, 1048.
I'll be out with 1 at Coal Creek and Courtney Way.
1049.
Row 7 on code 2.
Go ahead. 574, I think 773 has that. Your catch might not be updated.
Copy, thanks.
Thank you at 1050.
528 arrival?
Nope.
640, go lot 2. 640, lot 2. Yeah, I'm just staged at Ridge Road currently. How far out are you?
Approximately 5 minutes.
All right, looking at Google Maps, it's a long driveway.
Copy. And we have fire stage down below.
Stage somewhere, not where I'm at.
795 Extra Patrol.
Go ahead.
North 63rd and you.
1056. 758.
1761, begin launch, come on.
1861, good morning at 11 o'clock. Lincoln 90, sending you a phone call.
Lincoln 90, copy.
Lincoln 66, clear warning.
Copy. Break 773, sending you a phone call on fraud.
773, copy.
1101.
640, arrival.
1102.
Copy. Nico, as soon as you get up on scene, stay behind the patrol car with its lights on, launch the drone, and let's get a 360, starting from the subject and then working our way around the house.
Copy that.
Copy, thank you.
1119.
8587. I'm passing Sugarloaf. I'll come straight to you with the shield.
528, copy.
This is DM.
All right. You guys pretty much get the gist.
40, no movement, and all I got is there's people apparently working behind me.
There's people behind you?
Construction equipment and yelling. It's probably...
Copy.
508, a minute out. I'll put out the interior drone to do exterior and interior for you.
Okay. So there we have it. It's a very interesting array of dispatch communication. Okay, I'm going to get into a few things because there's a lot of stuff that stood out to me there. And, well, let's get into it. Shots fired a test shot, then apparently you heard the rest. And the drone. The drone was interesting because I heard, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I heard an interior and an exterior drone. Very interesting. Now, regardless of what transpired, the cyberbullying was real. And I believe that directed energy weapons, targeting, gang stalking, cyberbullying, a lot of the things that people who feel targeted relay when they talk about these things, that's the thoughts they have on them. They break the person down. And in my opinion, they break the person down to demonic entity attachment. And it's not just my opinion. Very famous psychiatrists and psychologists have somewhat agreed. Some people say stop demonizing mental illness. However, people that are actually asking the questions and getting the answers and keeping data on this are finding out amazing things. Specifically, psychotherapist Jerry Marzinski, discussing his treatments for those suffering from schizophrenia or people that are considered criminally insane. He has a massive database of people that he's spoken to, and he's actually listened. Instead of just medicating them, shoving more pills down their throats, he's actually listened to what they say. And a lot of what they say is similar. He found patterns. He found patterns that the voices in their head were saying similar things to all of them. And he has shown and believes, now this is a guy that's not extremely religious, didn't go into it religious, wasn't looking to find this. He just paid attention to what they were saying. He was listening to what they were telling him, what these voices in their heads were telling them. And he believes now that demons hijack the mind. He believes that people are demon-possessed more often than the status quo believes. And, you know, if you've ever, it's a controversial view, but he's done the work. If you've ever seen the movie Nefarious on YouTube, this is loosely based on Jerry Marzinski. And it's a great, great movie. It's by Angel Studios. Highly recommend it. When you listen to what these people are telling you, you realize that when someone's opened up to demonic possession, these entities, these darker attachments, darker demons, can make us do things. Or at least if we let go of the wheel for long enough, they can take the wheel. Let me grab a book real quick. This book is called Satan, and this is an amazing book. This is about the vast conflict of our time. We blind ourselves if we see only the strife of men, and we cripple ourselves desperately if we don't realize there's a spiritual component. So this is called Satan. 666 pages, written by a Carmelite. These books are hard to come by. And this is the book that allegedly Jacques Vallée told Diana Pasulka to get a hold of and read to better understand the UFO enigma. Interestingly, it's called Satan, and this is the image of Satan on the front. What's interesting about that is they changed that image because some people found it too disturbing. But let me tell you what this is really about. This book sets out to untangle some of the most confused thinking, which has led our simple-minded society to shelf belief in Satan in an age branded in the face with its twofold sign and lies of violence. You do not cast out Satan by inventing a pantomime caricature of him and finding it incredible. So what this talks about is how there is a thin line between neurosis and possession. Now, what's very interesting is the first words. Let me show you this. You see that? It reads, Non Draco sit mihi dux, crux sacra sit mihi lux, vade retro satana, nuncem suade mihi vana, sunt mala qua libas, ips venena bibas. That is amazing. I know enough Latin to get the gist of what that means, and I can tell you this was something that came out in 1951, and it has to do, it was written by a Carmelite, and it talks about the devil in art and literature, the temptation, the demon Pazuzu, archaic gorgons, the onslaught. I mean, this is amazing, and it goes into it. But the bottom line is that there is a thin line between neurosis and possession. You break somebody down enough, you allow the demons in. Somebody's taking enough psychedelics or enough drugs, they let these darker attachments in. And the voices very much, in Jerry Marzinski's opinion, this top-tier psychiatrist, psychologist, the voices very much are demons, in his opinion, allegedly. It's a controversial view, but I believe it. So with that said, maybe, just maybe, those who whittled at David Wilcock, those who kicked him while he was down, those who bullied him online, those cyber stalkers, maybe they all helped get him in a position where negativity could enter his life. With that, let's move on. And let me back up a little bit. And I'm going to get into something that's a little bit strange, and that's Project Deception. That's an operation that goes into these interesting speculations having to do with motivations for hybridization programs. We're going to get into this. The possibility of hybridization programs taking place. There's a term that comes up often. Of course, we know about the alien-human hybridization that Matt Gaetz discussed. He said he was debriefed, and that there was a number of military bases or labs, my labs, that ranged from 6 to 12. I forget the exact number. I think he actually said 6 to 12 locations where these hybridization programs were taking place. Keep in mind that the term that I'm about to say gets a lot of heat, and that is the Hitler Project. This is a project similar to eugenics, right? Where hybridization techniques, we have all kinds of science involved to create master races. This term has been thrown around loosely when it comes to hybridization programs. Now back up for a moment. I'd like to point out that the CIA built the entire Area 51 and surrounding projects, many allege underground, that started around the late 40s to the 50s era approximately. There are reports of a hybrid program allegedly going on there for a very long time, most likely part of Project Paperclip, operation via Nazi scientists, aka maybe the reason why this term Hitler Project is thrown around. And there are allegedly multiple Hitler projects occurring all over. Some allege that what happened at the Zorro Ranch with Epstein may be related, and maybe even Dulce, New Mexico. And get ready for this. The Masquerade at Secret Canyon deep underground military base in Sedona could be a potential candidate. Now, David Wilcock often talked about Jesus and promoted Christianity, and there are allegations that a number of people, remember at the beginning I talked about demonic human hybrids named cambions in European lore, but a number of people, it's not just European mythology, a number of people allegedly, according to Wilcock, were magicians, warlocks, practicing black magic. And when we get to the Epstein files, we see email exchanges with people who are allegedly also involved with magic. More important than that, we've seen alleged exchanges with Rothschild bankers on something called the Hitler Shelter claim, allegedly. Now, that communication that we heard from law enforcement is interesting because Boulder County Police is generally very tight when it comes to footage and audio from suicide scenes to protect privacy, in accordance with the Colorado Criminal Justice Records Act. And they usually don't release unredacted audio or video footage. This is more about video, right? They're not going to probably... Everybody's waiting on the body cam footage. I don't think we're going to get it because emergencies that have mental health crises are usually requiring permission from the victim's family to be released. And I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think that's a key aspect of release policy that we're not going to see this time. They generally withhold or heavily redact body camera footage from suicide scenes to protect privacy, in accordance with those Colorado Criminal Justice Records Acts that I mentioned. So this situation just seems almost too wild to be true. And especially when we have someone who literally is against this sort of thing and then seems to just snap, right? I get that he may have been broke. I get that his close friend who released audio said that, yeah, he had written a note that said if he happened to get lost or anything happened to him, that he thanked those who surrounded him and supported him. Now, in certain theological and ufological and paranormal circles, the alleged gray aliens are frequently linked to demons or demonic entities. Jacques Vallée speaks about them as messengers of deception, interdimensional messengers of deception at some points. Now, this viewpoint suggests that, in general, if we look at the community, ufology, paranormal, conspiratorial circles, this viewpoint suggests that the alien abduction phenomenon is not a visitation from other planets, but rather a modern technologically disguised version of ancient spiritual deception and replication, potentially, of some of the stuff Nimrod did. If you look at, there's some really wild stuff out there about Nephilim hybridization. And keep in mind that when it came to Nazi ideology, they were in touch with the Vril. These were allegedly alien entities, but they also had a demonic aura about them, demonic attributes. And when you look at these historical and ideological parallels between biblical, mythological figures like Nimrod, known for building the Tower of Babel and initiating mass rebellion, totalitarian expansions, and genocidal goals of the Nazis and other interesting characterizations that seem to be summed up by supreme tyranny, it makes me realize that we may in fact have dictatorial, non-corporeal, non-human intelligence in play. Remember that these aren't my words. These are the words of people who have studied this for some time. Anyway, I'll let you be the one to ask the questions. I just offer up the data. Anyway, there you are. Beware of the cambions, the demonic human hybrids, according to European lore. That is what they called them. Demon-human hybrids, or cambions, in European mythology, were the offspring of humans and demons, often an incubus or a succubus. Well, this is by no means the end of this conversation. There is a lot here. And within certain Christian theological and conspiracy-focused perspectives, alien abduction and hybridization programs are interpreted as demonic or malevolent, often viewed as modern manifestation of fallen angels. These views suggest such entities are not extraterrestrial, but interdimensional in nature, often non-corporeal, acting in ways described as spiritually oppressive or anti-Christ. And it's been that way for a long time. In fact, you can go back to 3215 BCE, and there were examples of this. They were seeing things in the sky, and they were theologically dealing with demons on the ground. There's that. And yeah, the Sumerians had a very extensive and deeply ingrained history of demons, which were a normal, accepted part of their daily life and worldview. In fact, Sumerian demonology included a wide range of supernatural entities that were believed to cause illness, personal misfortune, societal disruption, all the types of things that David Wilcock had going on. And when it comes to the theological and the demonology and interpreting this, many researchers, including some within Christian circles, interpret these reports through a spiritual lens. I tend to like that view, suggesting that aliens are in fact demonic, masquerading as advanced extraterrestrials, that they have a malevolent nature, and that many of the reported abduction and hybridization stories are marked by fear, torture, involuntary medical-style experiments, behaviors often associated with demonic activity, rather than benevolent advanced civilization. And right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the aliens that allegedly landed in the backyard of the Kenmore household, right in the backyard, these massive 9-foot-tall tarantuloid beings that did everything from climb into a front loader and try to start it up, to one of them allegedly jumped over the fence and got water out of the neighbor's swimming pool before they took off. When Angel and his brother went inside and told the family about this, a lot has come out with this case. This is, in my opinion, the biggest case of the century. And a lot has come out about this case. But one thing I'm going to pinpoint here as we wrap things up is that Angel says he thought they were demonic. In fact, when they went in to do a prayer circle, these things were click-clacking on the ceiling, on the roof. And since then, they've had demonic poltergeist-like activity. Things like crosses coming off the walls, pages of a Bible flipping, very much demonic. So maybe Jacques Vallée is right. Maybe these are messengers of deception. Maybe these interdimensionals can wear any mask they want to. Trickery is their trade. And maybe the Collins elite theory is right. Maybe researchers like Nick Redfern have detailed theories suggesting a group known as the Collins elite believe high-ranking military members know that these UFOs are demonic and that occult practices in the 90s may have opened a gateway for them. Occult practices like Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, and the Babylon Working. So, in conclusion, I wish David Wilcock's family the best, his friends as well. I wish him the best. And let's all remember that spiritual protection is very important. Some accounts of encounters state that experience or abduction scenarios with these entities is halted when the witnesses or experiencers call out the name of Jesus, which is interpreted as evidence of a spiritual rather than a purely physical encounter. It's been documented since 3215 BCE the Sumerians knew, and they had all kinds of entities in Sumerian demonology. Unlike modern conceptions, Sumerian demons were not exclusively evil in a theological sense, but were often seen as tricksters, malevolent forces that operated between humans and gods. They were considered evil or good based on their actions, and some, like Pazuzu, could even be used for protection against other more malevolent spirits. But they are ambiguous. These demons could never be trusted. And keep in mind that these enraged spirits, if not properly dealt with, could backfire on even their handlers. So there it is. This interpretation is not universal, and it's limited to specific conspiracy-oriented theologies. But I tend to think that no matter how you look at it, if you had to point the finger at somebody, it's going to be everyone who allows the negativity in, bashes others, and then rejoices when something happens because they can get more clicks, more views, more likes, while their hands are bloodied and their actions may have helped cause the distress that took place. God bless you. God bless your family. Keep your eyes to the skies, feet on the ground. Don't forget to take a look around. And don't forget to head on over to HeroParanormal.com. Check out what we have there. Take care.
research organization.
Hero paranormal, always setting up the pace, man. Crop circle tipping, Illuminati still tripping. Making those ears perk up, gonna make you question your earth. You better. Mystery bloodlines and secret society. Creepy shapeshifter says, come sit beside me.
Yeah, cozy on up.
So what's with all this spiral?
Acting like UFOs.
Say what? So Bigfoot and Space Wolf tiptoe through the dark. Third eye blinding, tune in and blast off, blast off.
Blast off, baby.
Blast off.